Hello bird people, Jack Tolan here. Happy Friday. Looks like it's about to turn to winter. This may be the last day of fall, at least here in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. I wanted to do a little finger picking today, a little right hand technique. We're gonna go, let's dive into one of my favorite patterns here. This is a Travis picking pattern here, which is a thumb, which is really based on the thumb driving the rhythm here. So I'm in a C major, my left hand. You could also do this open too. You don't want to think about both hands at the same time. Totally fine. So basically we're going to start with our thumb on the root note. We're just going to build this step by step here because it's a little tricky at first. So hand position, let's slide over here. Nice and relaxed. All the weight of my arm is on my elbow here on the top of the guitar. And then my hand is just kind of lazily hanging here. It's kind of dangling. You want as little tension in there as possible, which is why I'm trying to get away from the bracing. A lot of players brace. I'm a recovering bracer myself, and it just puts more tension. It gives you a stability, but it just puts tension in your hand in a weird way. So I'm really trying to get away from that. So we're just gonna alternate between the A string and the D string to start. And whenever you're working on this pattern, build it up from your thumb pulse. Just start there, and then we'll fill in the pieces. So when I was just doing that little thing in the beginning here, I was using all three of these fingers too. I was using everything but my pinky. We're gonna simplify and just use the pointer and middle for the high melody parts. And we're just gonna focus on, we're just gonna give one job to each finger. Our middle finger is gonna play on the B string, and our pointer finger is gonna play on the G. So we're just gonna focus on the A and D for our thumb, and the G and B for these fingers. So here we go. Start with the thumb, nice and slow. We want to build these slow. So the first thing so we're gonna think about this in a 4-count framework. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna add a pinch with the middle finger on the 2-count. 1, 1 pinch, 2, 1 pinch, 3, 4, 1 pinch. Work on that for a bit. And if that feels good, we're gonna add, here's the tricky part, we're gonna add the syncopated part, so the offbeat melody here. Here we go. 1 pinch, 3 and 4 and 1 pinch, 3 and 4 and. So I'm gonna break that down. The thumb is just striking on these quarter notes. So the thumb guides this, and it's about the timing of when these fingers are playing. So it's 1 pinch, let's zoom in. I'm still holding the C with my left hand. 1 pinch, 3. Now we do an upstroke on the 3 and with the pointer, and then our thumb is hitting here on the downbeat of 4, and then up on the B string on the 4 and. So it's 1 pinch, 3 and 4 and 1 pinch, 3 and 4 and 1 pinch, 3 and 4 and 1 pinch, 3 and 4 and. Repetition is huge with this to build that muscle memory, especially in the thumb, to get it to drive. And when that starts to feel good, start to speed it up a little bit. And you get that kind of nice bounce. Helps use a metronome too to kind of gauge where you're at. Hey, Dad. I've been using a metronome too to kind of push where my ceiling is of my, kind of my max. now I'm actually adding my ring finger there in the pattern to play the highest notes there. So now, here's the big challenge. So once you get that kind of built in, we're gonna change chords, and this is where it gets a little tricky because we wanna strike the root note first, which is the lowest note that gives the chord its name, right? So in a C major, that's our lowest C available. That's the lowest C on the guitar. So what if we change to a G major? We need to adjust where our thumb is striking. So this is where that slow practice really comes into play to get that coordination. So now I'm actually playing, this is personal preference here, what interval or what spacing you want. This is going E string to D string. So the notes are G, D, G, D, which is kind of more classic like folk bluegrass, right? 1, 5, do, so, do. You could also go G, A stringed, which is the G, B, do, me, kind of a tighter interval. Or better yet, you could do all three of those. Whoops. And actually get it playing a different string every quarter note. So practice this really slow alternating between just a few chords. So we've covered a chord with a A string root and a chord with a E string root. What about D string, right? What if we go to a D of some sort, a D major? Sure, let's do D major. We're gonna shrink up the pattern here. And I'm just gonna alternate between, that's that same, you recognize the interval? Do, so, same that we were doing with the G there. But you also have a low A. That note is an A off of your G there. You also have this open A available too. So you could go. Ooh, that's hard. So explore that and always start with the thumb pulse. I'm gonna go back to the C where we started here. Just do it again, really slow. You could also play different variations with the fingers too. I could do the pinch on the highest string, which would give my middle finger two jobs, E string and B string. Travis picking. Enjoy. Always practice it slow first, slow. Build that muscle memory in the thumb, and then speed it up from there. Thank you.